once again. The briefing, again, will take you through some of the proceedings that happened at FEC. We still expect one or two ministers to join us in the course of the proceeding, but we will want to keep it as straightforward as possible. Let me start by saying that government is thanking members of the Nigerian media and other international media who are always reporting government programs and policies for the benefit of Nigerians. Like I always say, the relationship between this government and the media is a robust one and a very important one, and government takes the media very seriously. And that is why government on its side is always desirous of ensuring that information is given out in a timely manner, in also a manner that is transparent and that is also accountable to all of you. It is also expected that the media will report issues and events around government and around the country with utmost sense of responsibility. Like it's always said, report what you know to be true. When you're in doubt, please leave out. Government is urging all of you to join hands with it in ensuring that we reach the Nigeria of our dream. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is always desirous of ensuring that there is media freedom, there is an enabling environment for the Nigerian media to operate without let or hindrance. And we also expect, like I said, responsible reportage from all of you so that Nigeria can grow. Today, so many issues were discussed. Like I said, I have with me the Honorable Minister of Works, Senator Dev Umahi. I have also with me the Honorable Minister for Agriculture and Food Security. We also have the MD FEMA in case there will be some issues of concern for him to also talk about. To the extreme right, I also have the Special Advisor to the President on Information, Mr. Bayo Nanuga. Consistent with the desire of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to give Nigeria purposeful leadership, all the time, he has always maintained that Nigerians should have the best out of democracy. And in that direction, he is, together with his cabinet, always looking at issues of infrastructure, issues of security, agriculture and food security, revamping the economy, and turning it around. You recall that in the last couple of weeks, we have seen some form of movement, especially on the economic front. The NBS, the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, has reported that capital importation into this country has risen. The NBS has also reported that domestic fuel consumption has dropped by around 50%, which is almost 1,000 liters before the fuel subsidy was removed. So as a result of the removal of fuel subsidy, domestic consumption of fuel has gone down by over 1 billion liters, which is around 50%. So we're beginning to see some of the benefits of the reform policies that Mr. President and his team are putting in place. In the area of agriculture, we're seeing also that it is not just that food prices are beginning to go down, but our capacity to also produce food is also going up. These are thanks to the kind of effort that Mr. President, through the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, is putting in place. Like the Minister of Agriculture will brief you, there are a series of activities that have happened that are clear indication in the growth that we are seeing in terms of food production in this country. The Minister of Agriculture will brief you on that. We are also seeing, like I said earlier, an increase in investment in our, especially road infrastructure. The Minister of Works is going to talk on that. Also in the area of security, there is also something that the Ministry of Communication is also doing. The Minister of Communication and Digital Economy is also here. He will brief you on some of those activities in his ministry that is aimed at not just ensuring that Nigeria is covered in terms of communication, reducing the dark spots that we all have that also lead sometimes to enabling environment for some of the criminals within the society to operate. There is something happening in that direction that you hear from him. And we're also seeing an upsurge in the investment drive that we're also getting, especially the foreign direct investment. Only a few weeks ago, the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, who has also joined us here, has told us that there is already a commitment of over $30 billion that is already here with us. She's also going to talk about that and many other initiatives from that front. So on the whole, it is to brief you the kind of gradual positive direction that our country is going. It is not all about bad news. Reforms, of course, take time, and they also take some effort. And in the process, of course, some pain will have to be borne by the public. But President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as always, is desirous in ensuring that Nigeria becomes more prosperous, Nigeria becomes safer, and Nigeria becomes economically viable for all of us. So I want to welcome you here. As is the case, I will first invite the Honorable Minister of Agriculture and Food Security to give some briefings of what has transpired. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. My colleagues and everyone, gentlemen of the press. I had briefed Council on 3 prominent activities that happened within the last the first one was on Friday, last Friday in Kebbi State, in Gaski, to be okay. Where Mr. President commissioned the largest tomato farm and factory in Nigeria by GB Foods, which is a Spanish conglomerate from the country of Spain, and also a groundbreaking ceremony for further expansion. The current capacity of that factory is 620 metric tons of tomato per day. And with the expansion, that will bring the capacity to 1,200 metric tons per day. The farm is made up of, they have about 6,700 farm workers, and I'm glad to say that 70% of those farm workers are women, ranging from younger ones in their youth age to elderly women. They have an outgrower scheme that also employs about 5,000, cultivates about 5,000 hectares, and they also have of farmland and have 1,500 hectares of seedling production. Mr. President was represented by my humble self, and along with me we had Honorable Minister of Information and National Orientation, the Honorable Minister of Budget and National Planning. We also had the Governor of Kebbi State and members of the National Assembly from Kebbi State, members of the State Executive Council, and the Emir of Yauri present at the function. We also had the ambassador of Spain to Nigeria. He was also like I said, that was a company that is based in Spain. What they have shown, that is a manifestation of the confidence that they have, a foreign company has in the leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to not only increase their capacity but increase their presence in Ngaski. I'm not sure if some of you know where Ngaski is. It's on the shores of the upper part of the Kainji lake in Kebbi State. So it took us almost like 6 hours from Kebbi, between Kebbi, to that particular location. However, they have the nearest exit for them is southwards towards Ilorin, where they will come out around Jabba and Mokwa and to Lagos. They produce concentrates from the tomatoes. Thereby, from there they take the concentrates to Lagos, where in their factory they manufacture, if you recall, Gino tomato paste. So the farm is in Ngaski in Kebbi State. That was a very eventful program for all of us. We saw the commitment and the compassion that the Spanish company has for Nigerian agricultural space. That is to say, while some are saying that people are leaving the country, but this is a clear manifestation of the confidence this company has in Nigeria. The second event took place on Monday, the 11th of March in Mina, where Mr. President commissioned first set of the 1,000 tractors, John Deere tractors, purchased by the Niger State government. This was a collaboration between the federal government and the Niger State government to key into Mr. President's 8-point agenda of food security and economic empowerment, job creation, and access to capital and inclusivity of women and youth. That was a very good program that we had, where Mr. President also launched and commissioned the special agro-processing zone of about 3,000 hectares just by the side of the airport. And their airport was also renamed after Mr. President. It's now known as Bola Ahmed Tinubu International Airport, Mina. The third function took place this morning at the headquarters of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, where we played host to the Central Bank Governor, Mr. Yemi Cardoso, and his team of about 3 deputy governors and high-ranking members of the CBN. In attendance also were the Honorable Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, where the CBN governor handed over 2.15 million bags of fertilizer to the Federal Ministry of Agriculture under the directives of Mr. President. This was a very golden gesture by Mr. President, and it came at a time when it is apt and it is needed, because we are on the last phase of the dry season and also the early stage of wet season, rainy season. In fact, in the southern part is the beginning of the rainy season. So this fertilizer will go a long way to boost production. And I think that quantity, depending on the location, because fertilizer is crop and soil specific, but it will go a long way at least to cultivate nothing less than 400 to 500,000 hectares of farmland. So this is timely. Like I said, this will boost agricultural production and which will mitigate the food inflation that we have today. So we're happy that that just is handed over to Federal Ministry of Agriculture. And we will also make sure that that fertilizer gets to the intended farmer, to the last mile. We have had things in place. We have drawn up, if you recall, we've been complaining about portfolio farmers, the list that is not verifiable, but we were able to, for the rice season, we were able to, as much as possible, clean up that data and worked with the subnationals and the local governments to come up with a list. What we did was initially we identified the land, because the land must be there for you to become a farmer. So you don't identify a farmer without a land. You identify the land and then identify the farmers that are on that land. We were able to do as much as possible. However, Mr. President has also given his assurance that we'll come up with a more robust data gathering system that will come immediately after our harvest of the wheat that is coming up with, in the next couple of weeks. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Minister of Agriculture. Let me now invite the Honorable Minister of Works, Senator Dave Umahi, to also brief us on some of the memos he presented to Council today.
Thank you, Honorable Ministers and the press. Today we got augmentation approval for Obanaja in Lokoja to Benin Road, Obajana in Kogi State to Benin, a total of 244 kilometers and 489 kilometers dualized. Recall that in 2012, this project was awarded to 4 contractors: CGC, Mothercat, Dantata Sawoe, and then RCC, at a total cost of 122 billion. And that was for light rehabilitation. And about 2018, the past administration reviewed the project and dualized it. And that's why you have a total of 489 kilometers. And then now got no objection from BPP. And then when I came on board in August, we were supposed to present the no objection to FEC in line with the due process. And we decided to review the project, one, to determine whether the dualization was desirable in view of the economic challenges, and 2, to see the texture of the soil and what to do. So we went through the route in September, and we saw the need to dualize the route. For example, if you go to Okbela, where you have Dangote and you have Bua, the 2 trucks cannot move side by side in one carriageway. We saw it with our eyes. And we also saw that the terrain for the new carriageway, was very soft. And the only thing that could, attest and arrest the situation, is to use concrete. So we had to now rescope the project, but we didn't increase the cost. And so we got approval for augmentation from 122 billion to 897 billion. And so the contractors were off-site because they will not be working and they will not be paid based on the new basic rates. So we got them back to site, and today we got approval. Now, under FEMA, we got approval for the construction of Isheri-North Lagos route, which is to connect Ogun State. And this is an alternative route to Lagos-Shagamu Road. And by the law, we're going to tow this Lagos-Shagamu when completed. And by law, for you to tow a road, federal road, you have to have an alternative. So this approval of about 2.23 billion to connect, this Lagos Isheri North to Ogun State is a major breakthrough, so that has freed the Lagos-Shagamu for tolling. And finally, we also got approval for Outer Marina Shore Protection. The shore protection was done over 50 years back with sheet piles. And we had to drag the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy. And we took a tour with Jilobeja through the entire shoreline of 3.92 kilometers. We went to Jilobeja, we went to CCCC, we went with CBC and the build well. And we demanded for them to inspect and then give out their proposal. Only build well and CCC brought their proposal, whereas CCCC was quoting on 3.2 kilometers and 134 billion. Build well was quoting on 3.9 kilometers, a difference of 7 kilometers, and quoted 114 billion. We sent the two to BPP, and BPP found merit in build well because of cost, and of course latest technology in doing shore protection using interlocking concrete, which will not be subject to rusting. And so we got approval for build well in the sum of 114 billion. And this shore protection is protecting a lot of critical infrastructure of federal government and even state government. They recently inaugurated, rail line in Lagos by Mr. President for Lagos State. It's just by the shoreline. And we had pictures of what is existing there now, and it's quite critical. And we'll be asking Mr. President to give us special funding, because I have to leverage on the dry season to do the piling work. That's what we had today. Thank you.